All right, so here we have a mongoose model, right, that is using a question schema, right, to connect to a collection called questions, right, that we can use to retrieve all these questions, right. So we also have another schema, which is the quizzes that we want to be able to associate these the quizzes in terms of these questions, right. Actually, we have we have created a couple of quizzes, right, that we have added questions to those quizzes. So if we have db.quizzes.find.pretty, if you remember, right, we had added a couple of questions to these quizzes. So the model for the quizzes has changed, right? I believe we had only added titles, but now there should be a questions attribute there that we doesn't have in there. So let's head over to the schema that describes the structure of the quizzes. So if we go into quizzes and we go into the schema, right, we have to add the fact now that we no longer just have a title, right? We also have questions, right? And the questions is going to be an array. It's going to be an array. It's an array of what, right? Well, we could say that it's an array of strings. Notice that that's what we have in there. We have strings. And that would actually work. Let's try it out. Let's do a string. Right, and let's save that. Let's restart the server. Right, if we head over to our endpoint where we were retrieving all the quizzes, if we refresh, notice that indeed, right, quiz A has the array with the strings of the references of the questions. Same thing with question B. Now we have a question array. Notice that all the other questions that we have quizzes have no questions, right? So they're just empty arrays. So this is exactly what we have stored in the Mongo database, right? That's exactly what we have so far, right? So we are able to retrieve all these strings as arrays, which is interesting, right? But more interesting would be that if we could treat these strings not just as plain strings, but actually as references to the questions that they represent.